Welcome to Pastor's Chat today. Well, we're looking at Psalm 132, the 13th Psalm of the 15 Pilgrim Psalms. And this one, we believe, was probably written by Solomon, King David's son. And he is building the temple. He's bringing in the Ark of the Covenant, and the people are going to come and worship. And there he's going to remember the covenant that God made with his father David, that the Anointed One would sit on his throne. And that's with a capital A, the Messiah. This is a messianic psalm. And so let's go ahead and pick up where we left off yesterday in verse 6. Because in the first verses of this chapter, verses 1 through 5, we're finding that David, and that's what Solomon is reminding in his prayer, and he uses the word I. He's reminding God that David had made a covenant, made a promise that he would find a dwelling place for God. And of course, that dwelling place, that place where the tabernacle would be built, the temple would be built, where the Ark of the Covenant would find its final rest there in Jerusalem, and the people would come and worship. Yes, this is a messianic worship psalm. And so let's go to verse 6. And so, behold, we heard of it in Ephrathah. We found it in the fields of the woods. And so they heard that the Ark of the Covenant was there in the field of the woods, and he knew that this needed to take place to bring the Ark back down to Jerusalem. Fields of the woods was where the Ark had been for a number of years when the Philistines had brought it back, and then it was brought closer, and then the Lord had blessed the house of Abinadab, and there they heard about it in Ephrathah. That's Bethlehem, Ephrathah, and that's David's home place, and maybe his family of friends, of course, heard of this ark being where it was and knew that it needed to be brought to Jerusalem. And so let's go into his tabernacle. Let's worship at his footstool. So they brought it now to Jerusalem. They have said, let's go worship. Verse 8, arise, O Lord, to your resting place, you and the ark of your strength. Let your priests be clothed with righteousness, and let your saints shout for joy. When God is in his rightful place in our lives, on the throne of our hearts, I'm telling you, Jesus is our King, and he rules from his throne in heaven, and in our hearts there is great joy and a time of rejoicing. Verse 10, now he goes back to the covenant with David. For your servant David's sake, do not turn away the face of your anointed. The Lord has sworn in truth to David. He will not turn from it. I will set upon your throne the fruit of your body. If your sons will keep my covenant and my testimony, which I shall teach them, their sons also shall sit upon your throne forever. And so now Solomon, or whoever's writing this psalm, a future king, could even be Hezekiah, they're reminding the Lord, you made a covenant for David's sake. Bless your people if we keep your word, we walk in your ways. And then verse 13, for the Lord has chosen Zion. He has desired it for his dwelling place. This is my resting place forever. Here will I dwell, for I have desired it. I will abundantly bless her provision. I will satisfy her poor with bread. I will also clothe her priests with salvation, and her saints shall shout aloud for joy. There I will make the horn of David grow. I will prepare a lamp for my anointed. His enemies I will clothe with shame, but upon himself his crown shall flourish. Now remember, it started out, I was the speaker in the first verse. That was Solomon talking about what he knew his dad had made a covenant to bring in the Ark of the Covenant, find a resting place, build the temple. But now God speaks. And God says, God, I've chosen Zion. I've chosen Jerusalem. I've chosen this special people to be my people. There my anointed will sit. And of course, messianic all the way through, Jesus Christ from the fruit of David's loins. Jesus Christ, the Son of God, the promised Messiah. He will sit on the throne of David. And of course, he will rule and reign. His enemies will be ashamed. And my friend, we as the people of God will rule and reign with him. What a glorious day that will be. And we can look forward to it. What a great psalm. Well, God bless you, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day.